right. Hello and good day. My name is Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org and soon greyhatseo.com. But today's video, what I'd love to share with you as quick as I can is I want to share with you the different types of backlinks that you will need for your website at different times. This isn't a strategy video. This is to lay out the different types of links. On top of that, a question that I get a lot is, well, hey, what should I be paying? And I have to point this out. The cost of a commodity is based upon what the next person is willing to pay for it. So you'll see all different prices. So I can only share with you what I have seen and what I offer and give you my best recommendations. With that being said, we're going to go over types. We're going to go over costs. I don't want to waste any time. Let's get into it. Now, I went ahead and I made a service. I went through and grabbed some samples from my own store. And this is the best examples I can share with you. On top of that, I'll share with you some prices. Now, pricing for a white label provider or someone that does things white label is going to be wildly different than the markup you'll receive from someone that is fully managing your campaigns. With that said, though, the cost of the links, the prices I'll give you are pretty close to what you'll pay wholesale. All right. So I want to start off with some of the most basic link types. And these basic link types are link types that you will need for your local business. Here. So let's go ahead and start this off. Some of the very first ones that I want to point out to you are going to be your citations. All right. So here, I won't go through that list because there's all different types of citations, but I want to mark this down because there's US, there's AU, there's Canada, there's tons of countries, right? So here, I want to point this out. You go to Google, USA citations list best, right? Everyone's list is different, but I will point out a very crucial distinction between quality and non-quality citation building as opposed to directories very quickly. See these from across the web. These are top citation sources. They could be considered directories, but these are citations. What's the difference, Chris? A citation or a quality citation will include double verification, generally phone or email, or to sign up, you need a business email in some senses. In order to build these out, right? Generally what I see is anywhere between 50 cents and $2 a piece on the high end. These are for double verification. Oftentimes I'll have customers come and they'll say, hey, but I see on these freelance platforms, $350 for $10, for $5. Yes, but they're mixing in Web 2.0 directories and they're not all double verified. For double verified, there's a reason why huge platforms are charging $2 a unit. There's a dashboard, ease of use, right? And they're all double verified. What we like to offer is around $40 for 50, so slightly under that dollar a piece mark for double verified citations. Again, for your country, you can ask for the best of list, and the same thing goes for directories. Now, directories are going to be wildly dependent upon niche. There's category specific, there's geolocation specific, there's general, there's global, but these are not double verified. And what I mean by this, and I'll share with you some samples here. Let me just share this with you here. So here's some directories. So when we start taking a look, we're going to have to change these ones out. Oh, this is my own project. Here, we'll kill these off. These are live examples, right? Luckily, this is my own project. But when we take a look down this list here, these are directories. Well, Chris, what's the difference? Directory and citation, and I touched on it. But the difference between directory and citation is that double verification. Also, anytime you just put your link on the web with name, address, phone number, linking back to your asset, sometimes maybe even maps, that's considered a directory or an unstructured citation. This is what some of the directories would look like. Again, you can always go out to Google and say US directories list best, and then we can just take a look here. Some of the same similar, but there is a difference between a directory and a citation, a structured citation and an unstructured citation, in my opinion. The big difference is that double verification. 100 directories from us, non-double verified, maybe a single verified, maybe just list it, 100 is $25 as opposed to 50 for $40 for our citations. See the difference in cost? The difference in cost comes from the amount of man hours it takes to produce them. This is a manual service. Let's move on. The next link type that's very, very common is going to be press releases. There's all different types and all different types of prices. On the high end, for some of the very big distributions, I've seen anywhere between $750, $850, $900 for a 900 link distribution that's niche specific. Now, for your general or global distribution, to share with you a sample, let me share this with you. If you take a look at, and I might have mixed this up because I was in a rush to share some of these, but here, I want to point this out. So here's a sample right here, premium PR. So this is a premium distribution. Premium will mean the quality of links. As you can see here, this is a premium sample of global distribution, and you get sites like Yahoo Finance, UK Finance, depending on site, AP News, Business Insider, PR Newswire, Morningstar, Benzinga. Then you get your stations, your Fox, your News, your ABC, right? You get a big distribution. In ours, 925 links. What's the cost? Depending on how many you would like, generally you're going to see costs anywhere between 180, depending on how many you get, 180 US dollars, all the way up to $250 for this distribution, right? If you're buying more, or if you want to do white label, or you're an agency, we could negotiate another cost, but generally it's going to be in this range, all right? Now, there's other types of PR distributions. We call them regional. As you can see here, this is 900 links. This can also include sometimes G News. Here, I'll point this out to you. All right, so here, I'll point this out. This also includes G News sites. These are sites that are Google News approved to help with indexation, but these are going to be privately owned sites that are clean and newsworthy sites that auto-index. Now, the reason why companies will do this is to help your press get indexed, get seen, and stay in the index longer, the forward-facing index. Also, it adds value to the overall release. With that said, we don't add any extra cost for this. You get more links, but not every niche, not every release will get, 1,500 links. Some will get 800, some will get 900, but you get the added value at the same cost, less than $250 per for this type of distribution. Yahoo, AP News, MarketWatch, Business Insider, sometimes we get Monthly Full, all of your basic distributions. I see this exact type of link set being sold for $300, $400 every day of the week. Some of the premium news outlets, same distro, very close, for anywhere, slightly under $1,000, usually in the $700 to $600 mark. All right. So with that being said, this is the G News, or the premium distribution, including G News, or just premium distribution, general distribution. All right. Let's move on. The next type of press release that I would like to share with you is what we call a regional press release, or a basic press release. Now, unlike the premium we have to write it in order for it to get included on those premium sites. So we write it, we take care of it, included with the overall cost of $250. We're going to write it for you and make sure it gets included on the best sites like Yahoo and Business Insider, Monthly Fool, all the good sites, AP News. But when we're talking about regional, you have the opportunity to write it yourself. Now, let me share with you an example of what these look like, and I'll share with you the costs. Give me one second here. So basic, we call this basic. So this is a live example. You have your premium outlets. Again, this is a regional. Now, I pulled out one that didn't have Benzinga or AP News or MarketWatch or any extras. Depending, like extras as in higher quality sites that you just get and you're like, wow, I can't believe I got that. This is the basic distribution, regional. For this type of link profile, for a regional distribution, you will have two options. One is going to be $30 and you write the actual article, or it will be $40 and we'll write the article. At the end of the day, you get 500 links, and sometimes, depending on your niche and how well it's written, if you write it or we write it, will determine if you get MarketWatch, AP News, or Benzinga, right? Sometimes you get those, or it gets picked up or syndicated. then hey, we always love those days. But again, these types of costs here are $30 to $40. If you need more, you can get down to $25 per unit, but you have to write it. With that said, I see these types of distributions being sold on the open market or on freelance websites generally at the $50 mark, and they write it for you. All right, 50 to 60, somewhere in that range. All right, basic distribution. The next type that I'd like to share with you is going to be, these are UK or niche, or my mistake, Geospecific directory listings. So this type of distribution here, as you can see, is the mirror.uk, Daily Post, Directory of Wales, Liverpool.co.uk. These are huge sites. As you can see, we've listed out the DR here, and this here is a premium distribution based on country. We are looking to offer not only your basic, which I've already shared with you, but also category or geo-specific, and we want to go for the best sites. This type of distribution is going to run you $90. I've seen these on the web everywhere between $120 and $150, all the way up to $200. Now, what's great about this distribution is there's actually 250 links. That's right. So you get directory high quality sites, and a lot of them will stay in the forward-facing index. They're geo-specific. You get a bunch of them for a very low cost. So you can supplement your global. Again, this isn't a strategy video. I'll try to veer away from talking about strategy, but usually you'll stack your citations, you'll stack your directories, the global, the regular, you'll do your aggregators, and then you'll stack on top of this geo-specific, and then to finalize it, you'll get your paid or your niche-specific citations and directories, right? You're just stacking them up, not at each other, but working together. All right. So I don't want to spend too much time on strategy. This is not a strategy video. It's a type and cost video. All right. So these are geo-specific. In this case, it's going to be UK. We're offering these, I believe, at it's either $70 or $80. All right. You get 250 of them. A lot of them show up in the forward-facing index. Let's move forward. All right. We've talked about basic press release, premium press releases, premium press release with Google News. We've talked about directories, citations, basic. On top of that, we talked about regular directory submissions. I want to point out to you the next type, which will be EDU links. Now, EDU links aren't for everyone. However, if you have information on your website, or if you're just an educational website, EDU links can be a great way to get good anchor text distribution, or perhaps power up your blogs, or if you're an info site, power up your info. Right? Makes sense. They're category specific, pointing at category specific pages. With that said, this is the type of distribution that you can hope to receive. .edu, .gov, or educational based websites. We offer 150 for, I believe, $60. I've seen these go for $1 a unit, 50 cents a unit. It really depends upon the site and how many you're receiving. But anywhere between 50 cents all the way up to $2 each. We're doing 150 for $50 US. All right. And then this is just a sample of what you can receive, but the list is always changing. All right. So with that said, I want to go to the very next link type. All right. We did EDU. Now I want to share with you different types of backlinks. All right. Now, when we're talking about these types of backlinks, I know we've covered all types, but those that we just covered were basically foundation or pillow links. Those are your starter or basic backlinks, right? Like every business has these, almost every business. There is one more type that I left out, which is going to be Web 2.0. Web 2.0 could be considered foundation, builders, any site that you could just go build for free or next to nothing other than time. That's a Web 2.0 or a foundation link. As you can see here, I just pointed out this one right here. Here's a quick sample. As you can see here, this is a Google site. It links back to their asset. It can sometimes have an embed. Set it up any way you want. These types of profiles go in our store at 50 cents each, depending on how many you would like. All right. I've seen them go anywhere between 50 cents all the way up to $2 each. Some people will say they create an ultimate Web 2 blog, and they'll be $5 a unit. The problem with Web 2 is that not every niche will accept all of them. What I mean by this is not all will show up in the forward-facing index. They will get counted, but they all won't stay in the index. That's why we like to offer these at a lower cost in bulk. Moving on. I'm trying to go through these as quick as I can, so this isn't like a 2-hour video, but let's keep going. So the next thing that I'd like to share with you is what is called edits, all right? These are going to be link inserts or niche edits. Now there's multiple types of niche edits. To give you some samples here we'll open these up. We'll go to this one. Okay. Then we'll go to this one. All right. Then we will go to this one, and I'll just share with you these three. Now there's two types of edits. Now I'm going to share with you both types, but right now I want to share with you either this is going to be on existing pages where it will be added over to the side or inside of the article. All right, kind of like this. This could be a link to your website in an existing page that may or may not get traffic. Or it could be hidden inside the code. You don't see the link unless you have link gopher, or you look at the page source and it's hidden in a frame or a script. It's hidden inside the page. These types of links I've seen anywhere between 5 cents and up to $10, depending on quality, the page, and what level the page is on. These that you're looking at, if I were to say that on this page, it's going to be code-based, these are going to be $1 to $5 or less. If we're taking a look at a page like this, where it's just going to be inserted into the page, a niche edit, DR 30 or better, getting at least some type of traffic, just a little bit of traffic, you're going to pay at least $10. If you're taking a look at a page like this, it's not pretty, but it gets traffic and it has good metrics and it's on a top level page like a home page or the first page like this, like page 1, like this right here, then you're looking at $10 to $20 each. All right. So code is going to be $5 or less. That means it's hidden. $5 or less on the retail market. If you want it to be a niche specific, category specific, high metric, where it's just inside the page, you're going to pay $10 to $20. And then if you just want a good niche edit, where it's niche specific, category specific, the site gets some type of traffic and it's powerful and it's on a good page, like a top level page, $10 or better. All right. I've seen other sites go all the way up to $100, $200 a piece for sites that are DR 50, getting 1,000 traffic, 2,000 traffic. Be very mindful with these types. Take a look at outbound links. You get what you pay for. All right. Don't get upcharged. All right. So these are going to be your niche edits. Again, I like to stay in the $10 or less range, but that's up to you. I've seen all different prices. Let's move on. So that's going to be your code, niche specific, and or just edited into a page that already exists, $20 or less. All right. Let's keep going down this list. I like to get in 10, to be honest with you. Let's keep going. So I want to share with you another type, which is going to be your outreach or journalistic links. All right. So these could be outreach. They could be considered journalistic, expert opinions, expert mentions. These types of links I've seen range. We used to call them HARO or journalistic links. These types of links on sites such as, and these are ones that we've actually landed, Dash This, it's a popular tool, marthastewart.com, This Old House, yahoo.com, featured.com, or familyhandyman.com. These are outreach, expert opinion, or they're going to be inserted into like expert opinion, journalistic, like a roundup. I was trying to think of the name of it. It'll be a roundup, an expert opinion, or it'll be a journalistic or a featured post all about your company. Very rare, but sometimes they'll build the whole article around you, depending on the relationship with the site that you may or may not have a relationship with. Now, these sites, they can range. We're talking DR 50 or better. The site overall gets a bunch of traffic, but usually the pages that you're getting links on are brand new, right? It's not an edit. It's more like a guest post or an expert opinion, right? These are new posts. They're on high quality, real sites, getting real traffic, most of the time niche specific. But I need you to note that it's just like a guest post. It's a brand new page. What does some of these look like? Well, here, I'll share with you an example here. So this right here could be an expert opinion where you come down here and it could be inside of the page. For instance, here's a writer where they're leaving an opinion. Here's a person that wrote about this. And oftentimes you'll get links inside of the actual article. I'll give you another example. All right. So here we'll go to featured. Let's see here. Oh, I already clicked on that one. Scroll on down here. How about this old house? Better yet, we get this one a lot. Not a lot, but sometimes. All right. So if you come inside of here, depending on what you're talking about, especially if you're in the home niche, I mean, it could be any of these, right? It could be inside of basements, under any of these articles. And anytime that you'll see a name or a quotation mark with a link, that's an expert opinion. All right. You could get a link right on this page. So see how see these ozone generator? This could be a link to your ozone page. As long as it makes sense for the niche or for the page, these are going to range on our site to $180 up to $240 each, depending on placement, the site, and how many you purchase. If you want a bunch, the cost can go down. There's a lot of work and effort to get these. All right. So let's move forward. That's going to be your journalistic, your outreach, or expert opinion. I've seen sites charge anywhere between, I went out and looked, you're going to pay for that type of link anywhere be $250 and up. We're coming right underneath the market. All right. We're trying to offer high value, low cost. I'm not here to pitch, just here to show you the link types, share with you costs. These are actual costs. All right. If you look in the bottom of this video, there's a link down below. We'll have a page that lists not only, it'll be the service, the link type, whatever you want. All right. On top of that, take a look at your own vendors. See what they're offering. You can vendor shop, So I just wanted to point that out. So let's keep going here. The next type that I would like to share with you. So we went through the edits. We went through journalistic, edit samples. Here, I'll share with you some basic guest posts. So here, let me see here. Web 2.0, outreach. Okay. So here, I want to show you this. So here's guest post. So guest posts in this particular range, sites that get 100 traffic or 1,000 traffic or less, but have DR metrics of usually 20 or more. These are going to range on our site anywhere between $8 to $15 each. This is going to be on a new page, but you have control over the anchor text and you have control over how many links you can link out to, up to 2. On top of that, there'll be limited outbound links. And depending on which category you want, we can also select that, right? So you have a lot of control over these. The cost on these are, like I mentioned before, 8 to 15, depending on how many you need. Average is 10 for 50, $5 each. And this is the type of sites that you can expect to receive. All right. Again, these are just samples. I just pulled them randomly. Some of these network sites are huge, but this is the general look. This is what you'll always see. And now think about this. How many times have you seen a site that looks just like this? And I know you paid $100 for it. I know you paid $200 for it. These magazine style sites like this, $8 a unit, $8 a unit. All right. These are DR30s, 1,000 traffic or less. You get a page all about you, $8, 10 for 50, this type of range. I'll give you another sample here. You can take a look at this one for yourself. All right. This is a very typical style, minimal. It looks decent, but this is what you'll see. You have mixed, you have some archives here. This type of link would be a $5 link, but this is a guest post on a new page. All right. Guest post. This is DR20 or better generally. They're going to be on internal pages such as like this. Here, I'll show you. So category like this would be a post right here. So it's off of the root, just like this. All right. So this right here is your average guest post. This is what you can expect to receive in the $5 to $8 range. I've seen people charge $50, $100, up to $200 for this style of link. All right. DR30 or better, sometimes more. Be mindful on what you're receiving. Let's move forward. Now, I want to share with you pick your own post is what we call it. This is going to be sites with way more traffic. You can choose the category. There's foreign, there's UK, AU, Canadian, there's all types, but they have traffic and you can post your own content, right? So this is just another network type that's just a little bit better, but these are considered guest posts. Guest posts, all right? So, or you can call it a journalistic outreach link if you would like, but let me share with you what these look like, okay? So when we come inside of here, I'm going to point this out for you. Pick your own post. So here's some of the samples. I picked 3. I don't want to share too many of these sites, but this is what you can hope to receive. When you take a look at this site right here, this is a DR66, 474,000 backlinks, 6,000 referring domains, and the sites that I chose had more than 1,000 traffic. What do you think that's worth? These types of sites here, DR60, that's a $40 link. All right. When you come down here to a .eu, this is foreign, but high metric, right? 280 referrings, 4,000 backlinks. It's a DR40, but it's on a foreign site, but it's category specific and the site gets traffic. What's it worth? DR40, $30. When you come down the list, PL, foreign, but metrics have gone down a little bit, but I'm sure I guarantee you there should be traffic of sorts, 1,000 or less, or slightly over 1,000. 963 referring domains. It can match your category, even though it's foreign. But this type of link here, $20. So this is pick your own post. You can choose category, choose your power, choose the traffic amount, choose where you want the page placed. You can control the URL. You can control the content. You can control the anchor text. You even get embeds or images if you would like. The costs less than $70. With that said, I've seen similar sites. It's generally going to be in the $100 to $120 range. That's what I usually see, up to $150 for this type of link, all right, where you get full control. Let's move forward. I have one more to show you, which is called Authority edits. So these are authoritative edits on sites like Huffington Post or redonline.co.uk. I just wanted to share with you these two. So these types of links are going to also be edits, but these are authoritative edits. These authoritative edits are going to be on just like this, like Huffington Post is huge. These are authoritative edits, and these types of links from us are $70 a unit, all right? I've seen others charge, if you buy 10, maybe you could get 10 for 700. I've never seen anyone do singles. On top of that, I've seen most people for this type or this quality of link, usually $120 a piece. All right. So that's what I've seen out there. So we've gone over all different types of links today. I tried to go as quickly as I possibly could, as swift as I could. I did authoritative edits. I've done pick your own post and also foreign sites with traffic. These are guest posts or foreign guest posts, or you can call them journalistic or expert opinion posts, but on foreign sites. Again, when I'm servicing global markets, USA could be considered foreign. We have a mixture. There's over 6,000 sites we have access to at that price point. That's just me. There's lots of people out there. Don't get stuck with a vendor, all right? The last thing you want is to get stuck with a vendor. And then if there's tools like SEMrush where you can look up what is called similar profiles, now I can see what sites you're working on, or I could see what's internally linked. If SEMrush can pick it, so can Google. Be mindful on what you're doing. All right. We've talked about guest posts and bulk guest posts. We've talked about journalistic websites or actual outreach websites. The only difference in what you're paying for, if you're buying the link, a link isn't an advertisement. If I just want the quality, if I just want the equity, if I just want the potential traffic on a new post, you're paying for the time and the effort it takes to achieve that link. If it's worth it to you, that's up to you. Links are a commodity. With that being said, we have outreach, journalistic, and expert opinions. We talked about those prices. We talked about edits or niche edits. There's different types. There's comment niche edits. There's code key niche edits. There's niche edits that will be on the homepage. There's niche edits that will be in an existing page. It's already there and they just change out the link. There's all different types. We talked about EDU. Directories that are geospecific or category specific. We talked about regional PR, premium PR, PR plus G News. We also went into Web 2.0 and EDU links. My name is Chris Palmer with chrispalmer.org, soon grayhatseo.com. Talked about all the link types. If I left out any, tell me in the section below. My plan here is to break down each of these types. Hopefully I explained them well enough. I don't have a bunch of time today, but I'll just check really quick. If you have anything, okay. Goth, I appreciate you, but I have to run. My name is Chris Palmer, chrispalmer.org. I hope this is helpful. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully.